That, my friends, is what we are looking for right there. That is a big wad of crappie sitting right under a boat dock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Brandon Lester Fishing. Beautiful late fall, early winter morning. I'm gonna make it short and sweet this morning. The water temperature is down about 55. We've had some cool nights. The lake's coming on down, but the crappie fishing's getting better and better every day, and I can't stand it. I gotta go catch some. Y'all hang with me. Let's go catch some big slabs this morning. All right, guys, we are back on Tim's Ford Lake this morning. Like I said, we've had a pretty good cold front come through the past couple of days, and it's been pretty chilly, so the water temperature is coming on down. My water temperature gauge is still settling in. I just put in, so I'll let you guys know what it is here in a few minutes when it settles down. But I just started idling down this line of docks, and I saw a good group of crappie sitting under this dock right here. Just because they're there doesn't mean you're going to be able to catch them, but there's a pretty good wad of them sitting under there, so we're going to see. I had some questions on a couple of my last videos, so I want to address a couple of those questions in today's video, and in the process we'll try to catch us a few also. I'm just using my active target like I always do, trying to see exactly where these fish are positioned under this dock and see how I'm gonna be able to get to them. From what I can tell right now, what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to shoot my jig to the left of that float right there on that boat. So let me get in position here. They're sitting about 4 to 6 feet under the surface. Here's the first shot, falling right down to them, and there he is, very first cast. Nice slab too. I mean, a nice slab. I think that's a big one. Get in here, boy. That's how it works, guys. People try to make it hard. It really is that simple. But, you know, when you're fishing a line of boat docks, they're only going to be on certain ones. I'm going to keep me about 6 or 7 of them today. I know some people that are wanting some fresh crappie, so I'm going to keep about 6 or 7 and fillet them. We'll throw the rest of them back. Get around here so I could get to them. Another nice one. You can definitely tell they've been doing some feeding. They're getting thick and broad. Putting that winter feed bag on for sure. Number 2 for the morning. And you couldn't ask for better conditions this morning. Light wind. There's supposed to be a front coming in. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's not much wind coming through right now. Just perfect conditions. Let me walk y'all through my setup while I'm going around this dock to the other side. I started out with a 1/32 ounce Mustad jig head. It was red, but I beat it and banged it off these docks, so it's missing about half the paint, but it doesn't matter. I've got a chartreuse colored Bobby Garland. It's got some black flake in it. I'm not sure what that color's called, but it's sort of a translucent chartreuse with black flake. I got 4-pound Vicious high vis monofilament, and a lot of people have been asking about this rod, and I've had this rod for probably 10 years. This is just a Bass Pro Micro Light, 6-foot light action is what this rod is. It's got it's a nice little rod, got a cork handle. It's a good feeling little rod. Obviously it works really good. And this is just a 2500 size Abu Garcia spinning reel. Nothing special, just a good little lightweight setup. Something about 6 foot long. That's about what I like for shooting docks. nice one too. Definitely in there. They're just a little bit slow. Boy, he wanted it. Look at that. Gosh, he ate it. Just got to present it to him just right. Number 4. I can see them in there on active target. I mean, there's a pile of them. There's a few bluegill on this spot too. There's definitely a pile of crappie in there. You just gotta make the right presentation. That was a bluegill. You make the right presentation. You can always tell. I want to make this point too. You can always tell. I've taken a lot of people crappie fishing, and they'll say, "Man, I'm getting these little bites. I keep missing them." Sometimes you do miss crappie. Sometimes they get finicky, and I'm not saying you'll never miss crappie, but once you've crappie fished for a while, see, I'm getting a bluegill bite right now. Them bluegill, they'll run up there and they'll just go boom, 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 boom. They'll give you a little bitty boom, boom. See, that's a crappie right there. He ate it. I had 2 or 3 bluegill that hit it, and then that crappie run up there. It's a very, very distinct difference in a crappie bite and a bluegill bite. Like I said, a bluegill, he'll run up there and go boom, 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 boom. A crappie, most of the time, a crappie's gonna give you a thump. Sometimes those, the one hit it on the fall right there. Sometimes those thumps are harder than others, but a crappie's gonna give you a thump most of the time. So learn to tell the difference between bluegill and crappie bites, because a lot of times you can, when you get them little bluegill bites, you can just keep reeling and you'll catch you a crappie. That's a nice one. Fat, short, stubby, thick one. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, he's a pretty fish. He's colored up pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. There he is. Another nice one. All about the same size this morning. No giants yet, but good eating size for sure. All right, guys, I had a couple of questions in my last video that I wanted to talk about real quick. Number 1 was, how do I tie my loop knot? So I'm going to try my best to keep everything in focus right here and show you guys how I tie my loop knot. Okay, go through your eye, just like that. Give yourself about a good 6 inches of line there to work with, something like that. Just hold it like that. Catch it right there in the middle with your finger, and then catch your jig in your left hand. Okay, and all I'm gonna do is just turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make 5 turns. That's gonna leave me a loop right here. Now I'm gonna take my jig and I'm gonna go back through that loop, and then when all that comes around the jig head, I'm gonna let all those lines catch right there on that eye, that hook, and I'm gonna cinch them all down, not all the way down tight, just cinch them down. And then whenever I get ready to cinch it up, I just pull it up over that hook eye like that. I wet it just a little bit, and then I pull it up tight. And as you can see, that gives me a good little loop knot. I don't have too much of a loop there. And that loop knot, I'm telling you, it lets that jig stay perfectly straight all the time. That jig is always going to come through the water just like that right there, at that perfect angle. It looks natural. When a minnow swims through the water, he doesn't swim like this. So if you tie directly to that jig head and your knot is sitting like that, that's the way your jig's going to come through the water. Or it may come through the water like this or like this. Well, with that loop knot, it has no choice. It always comes through the water exactly like a minnow does. That makes a big difference. Another question I had is, how do I keep line twists out of my line? A fellow, I can't remember who the fellow was, but he had asked, and I'm glad he did. He had asked how I keep line twist out of my line. So number one thing is, always make sure, and I've talked about this before, always make sure that jig is perfectly straight. If that jig is perfectly straight, it comes through the water just like it's supposed to, and it doesn't twist your line. If you get that jig on there crooked when you're reeling it in, it's twisting the whole time it's coming in, and it twists your line. Another very important thing, and I had another question about this. When I cast my rod out, I flip my bail manually. Never ever do this, guys. Never cast out and flip your bail like that. Do not do that, because every time you flip that bail with that reel handle, you're throwing a loop in that spool, and you're going to create line twist over the course of a half a day or so. So always, when you make a cast, teach yourself to flip that bail over manually, and it'll keep that twist out of that line. I promise you, it'll help you out. So I hope that answered those couple of questions. That's what I want to do. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comments, guys. I read every single comment, and I try to comment on most of them. So you know, that's the goal with this channel. I want y'all to learn something. I want to learn as we go. I try to learn every single day I'm on the water. So just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to ask me something. I'll do my very best to answer it. There he is. Donk. Another pretty nice one. No giants this morning. I don't know. Now that I got me something to eat, I want to catch some dang big ones. I mean, that's a nice crappie, don't get me wrong, but we're fixing to move. We're gonna get on the hunt for some big fish. Oh, that's a slab right there. Better not boat flip out. That is a big one. Come here, boy. Look at that big joker right there. Yes, sir. His mouth's all jacked up where he's been caught before. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Since he's made it through one person catching him, y'all see where his jaw's messed up right there? It's his lucky day, because I'm gonna let him go too. Big old black nose, boy, he's a pretty one. That's a nice crappie right there. Get him back in there, boy. All right, everybody, it has gotten on up in the day here a little bit. Like I said earlier this morning, there is a front blowing in. It's supposed to be raining tomorrow. So this wind has kicked up. It's blowing this front in here, so what's happening. So I went to a 1/32 ounce, or excuse me, I went to a 1/16 ounce jig head here just so I can feel it a little bit better. Little pink 1/16 ounce jig head. Still using a Bobby Garland. I found a dock right here that is slap loaded with fish. I mean, it's got a bunch of them on it. We're gonna see if we can get up here and get us a couple of them to bite. There's one. Doggone it, I lost that fish. First cast. Second cast. Feels like a pretty good one. Yeah, that's a nice one. Not bad at all. If you can get them to bite that 1/16 ounce jig head, it's a little bit easier to feel them because it's moving a little faster and they hit it a little harder. It's a pretty one. All right, everybody, that is gonna wrap it up for today. Man, I made a day of it. I stayed out there just about all day today, man. They were biting too. I caught, I must say, at least 35 keepers today, maybe 45. I mean, somewhere between 30 and 40 keepers, probably somewhere right in there. Definitely caught a bunch of them. I only kept 6 or 7, you know, for just enough for one good mess of fish, and I threw the rest of them back. But saw a lot of good schools of fish out there today. They're really starting to stack up. The water temperature today, I told you guys I'd tell you what it was. It was 57, 58 degrees right in there. So it's getting on down there into the 50s. That's when those crappie really start to stack up good. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. I don't know if I'll get this up before or after Thanksgiving, but I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving. We've certainly all got a lot to be thankful for. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff in the world these days, but fishing, everything about it is good. Keep that in mind. Get out there, catch you some big crappie, catch you some bass, whatever you like to fish for, just go fishing, man. Have fun with it. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you subscribing. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time right here, Brandon Lester Fishing.